Hello. Welcome to Weird World Weekly, a production of Galactic Netcasts. I'm Dave Nelson, alongside the world-famous Matt Stein.
Why am I world famous?
Because you're on the internet.
Oh, I can't remember who I was talking to, but they're like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna go talk to the internet." And they just stared at me, and I'm like, "Podcasting." Like, "Oh, you literally are gonna talk to the internet?" I said, yes, I am.
That's what we're doing. We're live right now on YouTube, so anybody either watching live now or watching later, we're talking to you. So hello, internet. How you guys doing? Good. This is the podcast where we do talk about the weird, the odd, the strange, the unusual when it comes to the paranormal, the mythological, the conspiratorial, or anything else that kind of fits into that unexplained weirdness. You know, I know the weird when I see it, Matt.
You know the weird when you see it?
Yes.
Why?
I don't know. It's got to have certain criteria to it. If it's got those criteria that I have set up in my head, then I know it's weird. And I know it's a story that we can talk about on this podcast.
All right.
Okay.
I'm absolutely fine with it. I didn't know you had the shinning. You can see weird.
I'm what do you call it? Somebody that senses things.
Clairvoyant?
I'm a weird clairvoyant.
There you go. You're like Rain Man, but with weird stuff.
Yes, exactly. All right, so we've had some comments on YouTube that our podcast is too short.
You know what I say to that? Deal with it. You can't handle more talking.
You're not very nice.
Oh, they know I love them.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna ditch the 15 minutes or less thing, and if we happen to go more than 15 minutes, fine. So we're not on any kind of timer. So I'm sorry, timer. I'm going to have to let you go.
Can we hit it with a baseball bat?
I wish I had an explosion sound effect. Like, timer, you're out of there. So let's just start, shall we? Before we do, though, I have to remind you guys that you can listen to us via Stitcher or via iTunes. You can download our podcasts there or go to gncasts.com. That's gncasts.com and click on subscribe, and all the proper links to where you want to get the show are going to be on that page. Also, you can leave us feedback on anything that we talk about on this here episode or any future or past episodes. Want to do some time traveling? That's cool. Email galacticnetcasts@gmail.com. Or call our voicemail number, which is 805-328-3966, 805-328-3966. I think I mentioned that we're on YouTube. Either watch us live or in the future. See? More time traveling, Matt.
You can do whatever you want because this is America.
Yeah, well, for some of you, it's America.
Well, I live in America where the freedom tastes ever so delicious.
I live in Canada where the freedom tastes like poutine.
Is it Putin or is it poutine?
It's pronounced both ways.
I recently met a guy from Canada who's the singer of a band called the After Image, and we were discussing geography, and he goes, America's just kind of down here. And I said, I don't blame you. Canada is just poutine to me.
And did he say, no, it's pronounced poutine?
He did not. He giggled heartily. That was the end of that.
All right, so hey, let's get going here. How we determine on the story, how we determine what story we're going to talk about is we have this. What do we have, Matt? How do we determine that?
We have the wacky, wheeled of waffling, wagoned, whalesome, wibbly wobbly, wonton weirdness. I got a list of W words ready.
When they come to your head, do you just jot them down so you can use them on future episodes? Is that how it works?
I think I'm going to start like creating big lists.
Okay. Put it on your reminder on your phone or something.
I'm going to tell my wife to scribe a letter.
Okay, so on this wheel, the stories that we have to choose from this time are a field guide to cryptids from Europe and Africa, lighthouses surrounded by spooky legends, world's most haunted doll vanishes after coming to life, real-life unexplained events that actually came from movies, Bermuda Triangle ship reappears 90 years after going missing, creepy lullabies from around the world, and 10 strange mysteries from around the world that are still unsolved. So those are on the wheel. Wherever the wheel stops, that's the story that we're going to talk about. So let's spin it. Here we go. Wheel time. Stop. Wheel time. Slowing down. Wheel will tell us what we're going to talk about. And like, well, I'm getting weird feedback, Matt. Is that from you?
So, is it?
I think it might be. Hello.
No, not at all.
Huh.
See?
Okay, hang on. Let me plug my mic. And then plug back in again. Hello. All right. I think we're good.
Oh, right on.
Okay, so yeah, the wheel stopped on a field guide to cryptids from Europe and Africa. Do you want to describe for anybody listening who doesn't know what a cryptid is, what a cryptid is, Matt?
Well, I don't know what a cryptid is.
Okay. Well, it's short for cryptozoology.
How the hell would I know that?
I don't know. You've been on this show long enough to figure it out.
I literally have never, ever heard that before.
Really?
Gosh.
Okay. So a cryptid is like Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster.
Oh.
Or like weird, like mythological creatures that there's stories and myth about.
I never knew that.
So now you do.
Oh, today I learned something.
Tell your friends all about it around the campfire.
Oh. Okay.
Okay, so these are we've got our ones in North America. We've got your Bigfoots, there's Champ that it's supposed to be like a Loch Ness Monster of Lake Champlain.
Oh.
And we've talked about other ones on previous episodes too. Didn't we have a list of like monsters of North America? We had a couple of different episodes that we talked about that, right?
Yeah. There was like a lizard man, and I know I don't think we talked about it, but there's chupacabra. That's it.
So these are ones that are located in Europe. I took out the African ones just because I wanted to pretty much stay with the standard, not so weird ones. So these are your standard cryptids that you may find on your travels in Europe, even today, if you're lucky. So let's dig into this list real quick. And I may need your help with these pronunciations, Matt.
Thank God.
The first one is the Walpertinger in the Bavarian forests in Germany.
Walpertinger?
How would you say that?
Walpertinger?
Walpertinger.
You're adding an R. Oh, are you? Oh, no, I'm drunk. I was missing an R.
This freaky animal has a body composed of various animal parts, but in most cases, it's only a horned squirrel or a rabbit.
Okay. That description reminds me of a Simpsons episode where they talk about the Esquilax, and Chief Wiggum is like, it's an ancient mythological animal.
Oh, hang on. I got to start recording the audio again because it stopped at one point. Hang on.
That's fine.
Let me unplug my mic. Okay, we have to go way back. All right. So, because you were kind of breaking up a little bit again, so I don't know what the hell's going on here. Stand by. All right, I'm gonna unplug my mixing board too. There. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. All right, so let's start the audio recording again. And I don't know where we left off. Okay, we have to go way the hell back to when we just stopped the wheel. So pretend like we just did that, all right? All right, so the wheel landed on a field guide to cryptids from Europe and Africa. Matt, do you know what a cryptid is?
I do now. A cryptid is, what was it, cryptozoology?
Yes.
What they mean? So like Bigfoot and the chupacabra,
And like water animals like the Loch Ness Monster.
Yep.
Like the wolf, the dog man of northern Michigan. Isn't that something that we talked about on a previous episode?
Yeah, I think a lot of these are. We talk about so many weird cryptids essentially that I start to forget.
Yeah, so that's why they're on this show, because they're weird, right?
Absolutely.
Weird Weekly. All right.
That's what we're here for.
So this is from io9.com. They this is like a field guide. So like this, you'd want to take this with you on your travels in Europe. So if you run into these weird monsters, you might be like, "Hey, this is on the list. I can identify this monster." So the first one is the Wolpertinger in the Bavarian forests in Germany. This freaky animal has a body composed of various animal parts, but in the most cases, it's only a horned squirrel or a rabbit.
So, okay, this reminds me of an episode of The Simpsons where they're at a carnival and Chief Wiggum is running like a freak show tent.
Uh-huh.
And he's talking about the mythological Esquilax, that is a horse with the head of a rabbit and the body of a rabbit. And it's just
a horse that's part rabbit.
It's the horse with the head of a rabbit and the body of a rabbit. It's just a rabbit.
Oh.
But you get what I'm saying? Where they're like, oh, it's all these other animals, but it's really just a horned squirrel or a rabbit.
That's funny. That's really funny. I had to think about it for a second. I'm like, wait a second.
It's easier because in the show, it shows just a rabbit sitting there and then it hops away. I'm just telling you, it doesn't quite work. But the point being is that people are like, oh, it's this gruesome animal that's comprised of all sorts of other animal body parts, but it's really just a rabbit. You know, like I could call the squirrel that's constantly outside of my window by my computer the Wolpertinger and be like, oh, it's so gruesome. And people would just be like, it's a squirrel. I'm like, no, it's the Wolpertinger.
You could just make things up.
Absolutely. I think I'm going to start doing that.
I came up with this cryptid all by myself.
Yep, absolutely. We're going to be millionaires.
Okay. Second one on the field guide is the sea bishop or bishop fish and the monk or the sea monk. They were reported in the 1530s and 1540s, you know, way back in the day. The angry bishop fish could find the location of the seaman's daughter on a boat, warp her to his lair. Warp her to his lair? What does that mean?
Like in Star Trek when they warp people.
Oh. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it does.
Well, it makes sense in a space show, but not in the 1530s and 1540s.
Well, that's how you know that this is fake.
Okay. And then it would absorb her energy and send the dead body back. The sea bishop and the sea monk was caught in 1546. The bishop was taken to the King of Poland, and apparently either kept as a pet or killed. They don't really say.
That's weird. It's weird to me.
Well, it's Weird World Weekly, Matt.
Well,
that's what we talk about.
I get it. But it's just so far-fetched, although in the 1500s, you know what I mean? That was like in the 80s, they thought cigarettes were good for you.
Yeah, in the 1500s, they believed in witchcraft. They believed in anything. Like, they were still like human beings were still very superstitious back then. Like, they're not as modern thinking as they are today, right?
No, I completely agree. It's with anything, things that things that they think are good now in a month will be bad for you. It's the same concept. So when they first come up, everybody knows everything, and then the more you get to know everything's wrong.
The more you know.
Knowing's half the battle.
Okay, here's the next one. It's the lizard and snake-like
Tatzelwurm from the Alps.
Talsewurm.
You have to say it in a German accent, otherwise, a Tatzelwurm.
Talsewurm. I can't do it. I'm not German enough. You're German.
Tatzelwurm.
That's why you do it so well. This creature has a head and 2 legs of a cat in many drawings. So it's a lizard and snake-like thing that looks like a cat. Looks like a cat head. Weird.
With 2 legs.
And in the picture in the article looks creepy as hell. I mean, it literally looks like a combination of a snake, a lizard with little lizard legs, and a cat head. I mean, you almost imagine him like playing with a ball of yarn or something. Look at me, I'm all cute, and then he turns around and opens its big mouth and eats you.
That's weird looking. It's eating a pig too. Even the Tatzelwurm likes bacon.
Your German accent kind of sounds a little bit effeminate.
Aren't all Germans kind of effeminate?
Hey!
And I don't mean that in a bad way. I love German culture. I love beer and sausage. But anytime you think of like stereotypical German, I always think of Sprockets from Saturday Night Live.
Well, yeah, you've got that one, but then you have the hard ass like World War II Germans, you know? Like what's that movie where they always put new subtitles under it?
Is that from Inglourious Bastards?
No.
The Hitler scene.
Yeah, that's not from Inglourious Bastards.
Oh, I always thought it was.
No, it's not. It's a different film altogether. It's an entirely different film.
Well, fine, Dave.
Sorry.
I honestly don't know what movie it was. I honestly thought it was from Inglourious Bastards.
No. All right, so the next one is the Beast of Gavadjen, a man-eating wolf, and this was reported back in the 1760s. The beasts killed their victim by tearing at their throats with their teeth. There were about 210 attacks against men. Only 113 of them were dead. 98 were only partly eaten. They're only partly eaten, Matt. That's fine.
Yeah, but a man eating, like, it just sounds like a wolf. You know what I mean? Like, what stops any wolf from eating a human being? It has other food. So this is probably just a wolf that couldn't find other food and just kept killing humans. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you're right, because there's no real like distinguishing features that is described here in the article. So basically it could, yeah, you're right. It could totally be just a wolf.
Yeah.
And there's more on this. In 1765, King Louis the 15th sent professional wolf hunters and his, what's that word?
Harquebus
bearer to kill the beasts. They've killed some giant wolves, a 31-inch, 80-centimeter high, and 5'7" 1.7 meter long in 1767, among others, but the attacks continued. The beasts came back in 1769. So yeah, I think you're onto something, Matt. I think they're just wolves.
Yeah, they're just wolves looking for a food source, and they found it in people.
Well, people are delicious.
I've never eaten a human being.
Just take my word for it. They're good.
Okay.
Okay, we got 3 more of these to go on this cryptid guide or field. What's it called? The field guide to cryptids from Europe. So, the Canvey Island monster in England. The first creature was washed up in November 1953. So this is fairly recent. 1953. It was 2.4 feet long, had legs with five-toed feet. The second specimen found in 1954, which was much bigger, 3.9 feet or 120 centimeters.
Oh, that's weird. It just looks like an over yet somehow underdeveloped fish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Huh.
there's a lot of weird things in the ocean, so that could be like a species of fish that had never been seen before, you know?
Right. Absolutely. But in the 1950s, they never think about that.
Yeah. Because I mean, there's that kind of thing's happening today. Like once in a while, you'll see online of a picture of some like fish that scientists just discovered.
Mhm.
This is like a weird combination. Like it looks like something out of a nightmare.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's too deep for any submarine to go. So
Yep.
eventually it's gonna end up the top. That's
Everything floats to the surface eventually.
yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
So the next one is the Dobhar Chu. I'm not going to try to pronounce that other word that's on here, but it's supposed to be translated as waterhound, and it's from Ireland. A half dog, half fish, furry creature that lives in the water. So it's a dogfish, literally a dogfish.
Huh. That's insane. I kind of want to see a dogfish.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you a story when I was younger? I was fishing at summer camp and we caught a fish and it barked. And supposedly they said it's a dog. That's a dogfish. It was barking.
What?
Weird. I can't explain it. All I can do is I have a memory. I have this memory of this fish that was in a net and it was barking. Now, it may be a warped memory because it's so long ago, but I distinctly remember a dog that was barking that we caught.
Huh.
Yeah, it's weird.
That's awesome.
All right, so finally on this field guide to cryptids from Europe is the tall and hairy man. No, wait a second. No, the I'm skipping ahead. Amphir Leith Moore, the big gray man, on and around the Ben Macdui, the second highest peak in Scotland. The tall and hairy man could be 3 or 4 times higher than an average man. That's big.
Well, that sounds kind of like a Yeti.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's Scotland's version of the Yeti. I mean,
Yes.
I'm sure that the Yeti stories can be found all over the world.
Yeah, or Scotland's version of Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Exactly. So, any questions before we wrap things up here, Matt?
Not really. Where do babies come from?
They come from the stork.
Oh, okay. That
And,
answers there's a lot of questions for me. It's
yeah.
Thank you.
So no need for that sex anymore. Don't worry about it.
Nope. I'm gonna tell my wife we're done.
All right. So yeah, I have one question before we get out of here, though. If you had to meet one of these creatures in a dark alley or in a dark path somewhere in the middle of nowhere, which one it would be?
Is it gonna kill me for sure?
No, not necessarily. I mean, you've got a chance to fight against any of these.
Maybe the Wolpertinger, because I would likely just laugh at it.
Oh, the animal that's made up of a bunch of different parts,
Yeah.
but is really a horned squirrel or rabbit.
Yep. Because I'm pretty sure I would just see a rabbit and be like, "Oh, you're not scary," and then kick it out of the way.
You're just a little rabbit.
Yeah.
A horn on it. Oh, aren't you cute? Oh, come here. And then it bites your face off.
Yep. And then it rips my throat out like a jackalope.
All right. There you have it. Those are the cryptids from Europe. Got to work on Africa next because we covered North America pretty well. We've got Europe. Now we move on to Africa, and then we move on to Asia.
See, I bet Asia has some insane ones.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Because the like Japan and China, their crazy creatures are like over the top crazy.
Yeah, and they're kind of like harsh people. So they would come up with weird stuff to like keep people scared.
That's where dragons come from, right? So
absolutely, and Game of Thrones.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. Don't forget you can subscribe to us to Weird World Weekly on the iTunes, on the Stitcher, or just by going to the subscribe page at gncasts.com. Leave us your feedback, galacticnetcasts@gmail.com or 805-328-3966. Or watch us on YouTube, youtube.com/galacticnetcasts. And until next time, Matt, what do you want to do?
Keep it via Dave.
Great German accent.
Danke. Wiener Schnitzel.
Sehr gut.
Sehr gut. Sehr gut.
Perfect. All right. Slight hiccup there in the middle, but hey.
It happens.
Yeah. You might want to try turning yourself down a little bit for this next one. Because once in a while, I'll pick myself up on your audio and maybe, excuse me, you might be hearing it like what you're hearing might be coming back through your system.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I turned it down on my mixer a little bit, so you'll have to let me know.
Okay. All right, let me save this. This would be 41.
Damn.
Podcasts. Weird World Weekly, number 41. Oops.
The fuck?
Oh, hang on. No.
The fuck?
What are you doing?
I'm reading an email from work.
Everything okay?
Yeah, they're announcing the retirement of our front desk lady,
Oh, okay.
effective yesterday.
All right.
She was semi-retired, and she just decided she's done.
I've had with you kids.
Well, she's like 80 years old, and all of her boyfriends die, and it's
Oh, geez, that's
started
sad.
like she's so old. She started calling everyone honey, so it's weird. But she's been there for like 10 years, so
You're breaking up again.
oh, I would never leave you though.
You might want to try. You might want to.
Yeah, give me a minute.
Hi, YouTube. How is everyone doing on YouTube? Still getting the third thing. I mean, like I'm hearing myself big time back. You there? Hello? Can you hear me? Matthew, can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Do you hear me, Matt? Hello? Do you hear me? Matt is leaving. Let's call him Matt. Matt is leaving for a moment, but he'll be back, and hopefully we will move on to episode number 42 of Weird World Weekly. He's coming back. There you are.
Sorry, when I unplugged my mixer and plugged it back in, I couldn't get the audio at all. Okay. So I just closed the Hangout and reopened it. Now we're good.
Okay. Doesn't seem like I'm getting that audio back from you, so I think we're good to go.
Awesome.
Let's move on to episode number 42. After I move the story down to the end of the document.
Do some dancing.
Dancing Queen. Okay. 41. All right. Back up here. Take it off right there. All right. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Let's do this thing. I'm going to turn on my mic, and we'll go. Hello, welcome to Weird World Weekly, a production of Galactic Netcasts. I'm Matt Stein along with Dave Nelson. Hang on a second. I got that wrong. I'm Dave Nelson along with Matt Stein. Hello, Matt.
I figured you did it on purpose.
I was doing it just to be weird.
And that's why I was surprised that you stopped like a bitch and fixed it. You should have went with it.
Hi, I'm Matt Stein. I'm from Appleton, Wisconsin. Go Packers.
I like to party.
And people send me beers, and I drink them.
They do that to you because that's what you do in your free time. Funny you say I like the Packers because I went to the game on Monday and took about 6 game minutes to want to stab the people behind me.
Yeah, no, it doesn't take very long, does it?
Instantly remind me of why I don't like going. Yet we're going to another game in a couple weeks. But
why are you doing
that? So we had those tickets before, and my buddy's coming from Minneapolis. But the difference is a 7 o'clock game to a 3 o'clock game to a noon game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's so much time for people to drink all day when they have late games. So the earlier the game, the less drunk people there will be. You know what I mean? So it's a 3 o'clock game, so it shouldn't be that bad. Now, if it gets moved to a 7 o'clock game, it's gonna suck. But they're playing the Chargers, so it's not like a huge game. You know what I mean? It's not like a Bears.
Like playing the Bears or the Vikings or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good luck with that. Go Pack, go. Of course, I say that from coming from the perspective of actually living in the state, and it's kind of become second nature after a while.
Yeah, I guess I was never a big football fan, but now I started betting like on sports.
Well, don't say that. Or is it fine? Can you do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like we have a pool at work, and I have a pool with friends, so it's not like I'm, putting hard dollars down in Vegas and stuff. It's just like friend bets, things like that. Just nothing serious.
I bet that we're going to talk about weird things on this podcast.
I hope so. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, because it's called Weird World Weekly, and the things that we discuss are like conspiratorial things or mythological. Like last episode, we talked about mythological creatures from Europe, or the paranormal, like ghosts or hauntings and things like that. So what we want to do before we actually get into our story of the week is to remind you that you can be part of a community of listeners called the Galactic Collective. And you can find information about the Galactic Collective on our website at gncasts.com. Just find the little graphic on the right-hand side. It says something like Join the Galactic Collective. Click on that. And all the information, all the details and links as to the different levels of galactic collectiveness you can become are right there. It's basically our depository of social network links. But we want to make it like sound more important than it actually is.
But it is more important than it actually is.
It is. We feel like you guys are, well, it's obviously you guys are the most important part of what we're doing because you take the time to download, you take the time to subscribe to our podcasts and to listen, and we want you to be part of the community. That's why we set up the Galactic Collective. So again, go to gncasts.com and click on that, join the Galactic Collective. All right, so we've got, how do we figure out, because we've got a bunch of these stories. We have a depository of weird stories that we collect over the weeks. And how do we decide which one we choose to talk about per episode, Matt?
We spin the wheel of weird.
That's all you're going to call it? You're not going to add anything weird, like other W words to it?
Not today.
Wow.
I want people to stay on their toes. I don't want them to always expect a very long-winded response from me.
You're not going to be their whipping boy?
Nope. I don't have to listen to you. You're not my dad.
Okay, so it's the wheel of weird. Weird. Okay. On the wheel, this time we have lighthouses surrounded by spooky legends. World's most haunted doll vanishes after coming to life. Real life unexplained events that actually came from movies. Bermuda Triangle ship reappears 90 years after going missing. Creepy lullabies from around the world that will keep you up at night. And 10 strange mysteries from around the world that are still unsolved. So, Matt, do you want to do the honors and spin the wheel?
You bet your ass I do.
All right. Go ahead and whip it. Whip it real good. Na 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 na.
Right that whip.
So wherever the wheel stops, that's where the story that we're going to talk about. And it looks like it's going to stop on Bermuda Triangle ship reappears 90 years after going missing. Do you want to do the honors and kind of read through this, Matt?
I totally could. Let's see here. The Cuban Coast Guard recently intercepted an unmanned ship heading for the island, which is presumed to be the SS Cotopaxi. Cotopaxi?
Yep.
A tramp steamer which vanished in December 1925 and has been connected to the legend of the Bermuda Triangle.
It's so funny, the word tramp steamer. Like, I have no idea what that would be. It's such a...
Instead of it burning coal to move, it burns hookers.
Oh,
that's the only thing I can think of that would be a valid reason.
I was thinking of the dog from what was that Disney film? Something in the Tramp.
Lady and the Tramp.
Yeah.
You feed it spaghetti?
Yeah. Just a bunch of dogs that are called Tramp. See, now we're gonna get in trouble with somebody. They're gonna complain. You guys are talking about killing dogs to make a ship go.
I'm okay with burning hookers, but dogs is where I draw the line.
Yeah, I agree.
The authorities spotted the ship for the first time on May 16th near a restricted military zone west of Havana. They made many unsuccessful attempts to communicate with the crew and finally mobilized 3 patrol boats to intercept it. There was no one on board, and the ship seemed to have been abandoned for decades, which is kind of insane. I used to read a lot about the Bermuda Triangle when I was younger, and it just kind of stopped being a thing for a while. Like, you never heard about boats mysteriously vanishing in there anymore.
Yeah, and then something like this pops up again, and it kind of reignites the interest in the phenomenon.
What if they were just being shot into the future? Like, they were disappearing and just being shot into now.
Yeah, there's a couple of different there's a few theories as to why the things disappear in the Bermuda Triangle. One is aliens. Another one is like some kind of wormhole that gets like a wormhole forms and gets like sucks it into like a different dimension, or it sucks it through time. And I think the third one's like magnets.
Oh my God, you probably aren't as hip to the pop culture reference of magnets as I am. But
no, tell me.
So there is an Insane Clown Posse song, and the lyrics are, get your beeping ready. Magnets, how the fuck do they work? So there was they got a lot of backlash, and it was like people started sending them like the dummy's guide to how magnets work. Stuff. But so when you said magnets, it made me laugh because it was like, magnets, how do they work?
I never know what to expect from you, Matt. It's like I'll say one thing and then you'll bring up a whole different like.
I'm really good at like random things.
You're aware of stuff that I wouldn't even. That's not even on my radar. You know, it's like Insane Clown Posse and magnets. Who thought?
I used to love ICP. Like, used to paint my face and go to shows, kind of stuff.
I know that about you.
Yeah, and my wife will sometimes like throw it in my face, and I'm like, I don't know if I like. There's some pictures floating around
Mm-hmm.
And I think like someone put one on my Facebook of me like with my hair braided and my face painted, and I took it down. And he's like, "What gives?" And I'm like, "Dude, no." And he goes, "Well, we were all young," and I said, "I don't care." Like I am friends with my like coworkers on Facebook, and I'm like, they do not need to see this because they're all pretty relentless people.
Yeah.
Like this. So yes, there's that. Now it's on the internet, but
Did you ever go to like the festival?
no, I did not. I was too young when I was really into it, and then I stopped caring when I really was old enough to go. And it's like they're generally pretty dirty people, Dave.
Yeah, no, I got that.
And I like showering and wearing clothes and stuff.
Yeah. Mhm.
So yeah, it was never my cup of tea. I went and saw them in Madison once, and it was probably honestly one of the better concerts I've ever been to, just because their stage antics and their get up and stuff. And
We talked about this before we started recording the episode tonight, how sometimes a band is more entertaining when they have a good stage show as opposed to actually if they're any good.
well, that's there's a band called the Chariot, and they're very, very, very chaotic. And on CD, they're really not that awesome. They're not that cool. But when you go see them live, like they're so crazy live that they're really awesome. Like I went and saw them on they did a farewell tour, and they played. I had to go out to Minneapolis for it, and they played at 7th Street Entry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, have you ever been in there?
No, but I know where it is. That's First Avenue.
Yep. It probably holds about 300 people, and if you stand on the stage and put your arm up, you can hit the ceiling.
Yeah.
And like the guitar player was climbing through the rafters and stuff, and the singer's hanging upside down and stuff, and they actually had to pull the guitar player down because he was caught on the sprinkler system.
That's
And,
like a Spinal Tap moment there.
but yeah, every time I've ever seen him, like I saw him play outside in the rain once, and the singer just ran back and forth and slid. He'd get up, he'd run, he'd slide, he'd get up, he'd run, and he would slide just back and forth for like a couple minutes. They're very entertaining live.
All right, so Cuban authorities have this ship. I know
Yeah,
it's okay.
we got
The last episode we said that we're not limited to 15 minutes anymore, so we can go off on these tangents. This is what makes podcasts great. It doesn't necessarily stay true to the original source material, right?
yes. As long as I love to talk, and you know that. But back to the topic of the tramp steamer. An exhaustive search was an exhaustive search of the ship led the discovery of the captain's logbook, which indeed associated with the Clinchfield Navigation Company, the owners of the SS Cotopaxi, but hasn't brought any clue concerning what happened to the ship over the last 90 years.
So it's the logbook was there, but there was no like, oh crap.
I know, and but it doesn't sound. It sounds like it was. It sounds like it coincided with the fact that the ship departed 90 years ago.
Yeah, no, it definitely did. Like it said that it did belong to this company.
Yep.
But why would there not be a name on the outside of the ship, like, or the name of the ship anywhere else in the ship itself?
I don't know. The next part, it says on November 29th, 1925, the SS Cotopaxi departed Charleston, South Carolina, and headed towards Havana, Cuba. The ship had a crew of 32 men under the command of Captain W.J. Meyer and was carrying a cargo of 2,340 tons of coal.
And hookers.
And hookers. And it was reported missing 2 days later and unheard of for almost 90 years. Now, the picture in the article, I don't know if that's the actual picture of the boat that they found.
I don't know.
And if it is, it says Cotopaxi on it.
Okay.
Like, if you zoom in the picture, that's what it says on it. And
does the picture look new, or does it look like a picture taken 90 years ago?
No, it totally looks new, and the boat looks old.
Yeah, you're right. Wow.
I CSI'd it. I type, enhance, type.
That's a really good picture. Like, I mean, or I was going to say that boat is in really good condition for being 90 years old.
But you figure, to put a logical twist on what potentially could have happened was everyone got sick and died, and the boat just kind of floated around, and it just showed up.
But wouldn't there be like remains?
They didn't say that they didn't find bodies on the boat.
It said that.
Oh no, you're right. It did say. So let's communicate. There was no one on board, and the ship seemed to have been abandoned for decades.
Yeah. Now, do you think if you died on a ship like that, 90 years, is that much? Is that enough time for everything to deteriorate and just like kind of dust in the wind type deal?
No, because I don't think the bones would still be there.
Okay. All right.
I literally think that bones have to be burnt. I don't think that they will decompose. They will
Okay.
not decompose. Yeah.
Well, maybe okay. Barring any weirdness like aliens, wormholes, time travel, magnets. Okay, barring any of that. When I say magnets, I mean like a magnetic field of some kind.
I know, I know. But we all know what magnets make me think of. So
It's like this big magnet out in the middle of the ocean.
yeah.
Damn it. Damn it. First officer, we struck the magnet again. Watch out for that magnet. Remember last time? A big magnet in the middle of the ocean?
It demagnetized my credit cards.
So barring all that, maybe they ran into some, not so good people out in the middle of the ocean, and they kidnapped them. Like kidnapped the crew of the SS Cotopaxi.
That's I don't. It's just I don't know. I don't know. It's really hard to like try and make sense of what happened. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Unless government conspiracy, they captured the boat, they killed everybody, and then to play into the Bermuda Triangle theory, they just put it back out there one day.
Yeah. Okay, 90 years ago. What year was 90 years ago?
1925.
1925. So it was between the wars.
Yeah.
It was between World War One, World War Two. So there was no real like conflict going on. Like it wouldn't be like Nazi Germany taking the crew of a U.S. ship or the Japanese taking the crew of a ship.
Right.
Hmm.
Right.
I'm gonna say aliens.
I'll go with you. I'll go with you on aliens.
Okay, no. I changed my mind.
Okay, we're changing minds.
I'm gonna say wormhole to a different dimension.
Okay. Okay. I'm on board with that.
Because we talked about that on that one episode a long time ago. The what you call it experiment back in the 30s, where it was a stealth experiment to make a ship disappear on radar, but the ship actually disappeared and supposedly reappeared like miles later with some people's bodies like halfway through the deck plate, the decking.
This was a lot of beers ago. I don't remember this
You don't
conversation.
remember anything we talked. You never listened to me, Matt.
It's not that I don't listen to you, it's that I don't remember having this conversation. I don't I don't even drink that much, but I know that there was a lot of beers between now and then and now.
Okay. So I want to know from our listeners, what is your theory as to why the ship disappeared 90 years ago, reappeared with nobody on board, no bones, just the logbook and an empty ship? Let us know. Email galacticnetcasts@gmail.com. You can call our voicemail number, which is 805-328-3966, or jump directly onto the website, gncasts.com. And we've got a way for you just to click a thing and leave a voice message on the website. It's easy as that. And don't forget, we are on Stitcher and iTunes, or just go to the subscription page at gncasts.com and let us into your smartphone every week. You got that podcast app every, Thursday or whatever. A new episode of Weird World Weekly will appear without you doing anything. It's that easy, and it's free, too. So details at gncasts.com. That is it for this episode of Weird World Weekly. Matt, until next time, what do you want to do?
Keep it weird.
And keep your tramps on a leash.
Wow.
Yeah, talk about ending on a blue note. Okay. All right. There we go. I'm moving too fast for my computer.
Yeah, something's pissed off with mine. It's like when I open a new tab, like the video gets choppy, and that's usually not a problem that I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if my
Looks
video.
like you've got some processes working in the background somewhere.
Fuck, Windows 10, I bet.
Hang on. There it is. I'd like to replace my processor on this thing, or put some more RAM into it.
Yeah, I'm probably overdue. I think it's like 3 years old. Yeah, good for a while.
Had mine since 2011 or 2010. Mine's about 15 years or 15, 5 years old, I think.
Yeah, you're overdue then, buddy.
Yeah.
Right here.
Well, if I can get a job, start making some money, that's my work permit now.
Yeah. Finally.
I redid my resume this week. That was fun. Not. Stand by. Yeah, it's great that I have a work permit, but the hard part is actually getting a job now.
Yeah, right. Well, is there a shortage of work out there or anything?
There's unemployment. I'm just worried that I have things going against me, like being an American. Not being a Canadian.
Yeah.
Might hinder things. Me too. All right.
You don't have the true maple syrup blood.
Yeah, didn't you know that Canadians actually that's in their blood system? It's maple syrup. All right. I think both these episodes were around 20 minutes, so we're doing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not too much longer, but it's long enough, more than 15. So.
Holy shit!
All right, let's get on. Let's do this last one and get out of here.
Right.
Recording audio, microphone down. Here we go. Hey, what are you doing? This is Weird World Weekly, a production of Galactic Netcasts. I'm Dave Nelson and Matt, are you there? Matt, come in.
Yes. What the hell? What happened?
Matt, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad. Are you ready to dig into something weird or strange or unusual or unexplained?
Yes, that's why I'm here.
This is the podcast where all that stuff is talked about. And what kind of where do we get these stories? Like what genres do they come from?
They're usually the paranormal, conspiratorial. Oh shit! The third one. I know there's grab bag.
Well, no, not anymore. I mean,
but it's everything else that's not in the other categories.
Yeah.
And
well, since you mentioned it, hang on.
Oh,
this
grab bag. Yes. And, the fourth bucket of stories would be the mythological.
Yeah. See, it's all right there on the Google Doc right in front of you.
Well, I had it scrolled down to the potential stories, so I had to go up, and you bought me some time.
Okay. All right. So there you go. That's the kind of stuff that we talk about here on the Weird World Weekly podcast. Before we start the story, whatever the hell we're going to talk about this week, anything weird happened to you recently, Matt? I know that we didn't really talk about this, that we would discuss.
Oh no, it's
personal life weirdness, but anything?
Weird things happen to me often. This wasn't this weird, that weird, but it was weird. I was leaving the grocery store today, and this car just stopped, and I saw a guy walking away from it, and I was like, oh, that's weird. Someone dropped this old man off into the liquor section, and then the car didn't move. I realized that the guy just parked his car in the middle of the drive and just walked into the liquor store.
That is really weird.
Yeah, and then I just shook my head and drove away.
You didn't want to deal with it, huh?
No, and I'm like, well, whatever. This just kind of tops off the day.
Well, it makes for an interesting story.
Oh, absolutely. I took a picture and I'm just like, what's wrong with this? And people are like, is that car parked? I'm like, yes, 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 it is. And I was like some old man. So, but he had a handicap sticker, so he's good.
Maybe he thought he could just park anywhere with that sticker. Like, it's a road, but I can park here because I'm a handicapped.
I don't think he knew that it wasn't a handicap spot. Not
Oh,
that I want to defend the guy who single-handedly ruined my day, but he didn't really ruin my day. My day was not going that well to begin with.
okay. Well, let's try to make it better, Matt. And you know what would make it better for us? You guys, the listeners, something that you guys could do for us. You could subscribe to the podcast so that you get it. Well, actually, it's a win-win. It's a win for you. It's a win for us because if you subscribe, that way it'll come to whatever service or device that you use automatically. So maybe you sign up for us on iTunes and it comes to your podcast app automatically, or Stitcher. Whenever we have the updated episodes, they appear automatically in your app. So those are two ways of getting our show. Or you can just go to gncasts.com and click on subscribe, and all the links and all the details information are right there as to how and where you can subscribe to the show. If you do the iTunes or Stitcher route, please leave us 5 stars on iTunes or a thumbs up on Stitcher. And what else? Feedback, galacticnetcasts@gmail.com, or call our voicemail number, 805-328-3966. You know what? I'm going to dare the listeners to call the number and just make a weird sound or like make a weird voice. So, because I mean, we're called Weird World Weekly, right? So we encourage weirdness in all its forms.
Mm-hmm.
So you can call our voicemail number, 805-328-3966, and go, hey, you guys, what's going on?
I would like if someone would just call and go, "Who wants a body massage?"
See? 805-328-3966. We dare you to do that, and we'll play that on a future episode. Okay. We have these stories of those categories that Matt mentioned. For example, on the wheel, on what, Matt? What do we have these things on?
The weird, wild, weekly, wobbling wagon wheel of weirdness.
Yes. On that, the thing that Matt just said, we have these stories, and they are, this time around, lighthouses surrounded by spooky legends, world's most haunted doll vanishes after coming to life, real life unexplained events that actually came from movies, creepy lullabies from around the world that will keep you up at night, and 10 strange mysteries from around the world that are still unsolved. Unsolved mysteries.
I used to love that show.
Yeah, it was a great show.
You know what? We are Unsolved Mysteries of the 21st Century.
Yes, we are. We definitely are. So let's spin the wheel, Matt, find out where it's going to land, and talk about that story. So here we go. Wheel is spinning. Round and round it goes. Where it stops, nobody knows, except for the wheel. Here we go. This is very exciting. The anticipation of what we're going to talk about. And it looks like world's most haunted doll vanishes after coming to life.
Oh, awesome.
That's nothing, That won't keep you up at night. That won't
dolls are terrifying.
Wake you up in a cold sweat thinking about. Okay.
No, thank you.
So here's the story. The Audubon House in Key West, Florida, has a dark and tragic history, as numerous sick children 200 years ago are believed to have died there during a deadly cholera epidemic. The sick children were brought to the nursery in the house, where they would live out their last days.
I just got the willies thinking about this. Thanks.
Well, you should be prepared for this, Matt.
Dolls and children scare the hell out of me.
Just imagine walking into a room. There's all like these stuffed animals and dolls and stuff, and all of a sudden you see a head turn or eye open.
I will walk to Canada and kick you in the balls.
Okay, so the sick children, I keep on saying six. Sick children were brought to the nursery in the house where they would live out their last days. The doll belonged to the daughter of the home's owner, Captain Jack Geiger. The house was opened to the public as a museum in 1960, and the doll sat in a pram. What's a pram?
That's a good question.
That's something that we could Google to find out, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You want to do that?
Yeah.
P-R-A-M. See, this show is not only we not only talk about the weird stuff, but we inform as well.
It's like a baby carriage on wheels.
Okay. All right. So it sat in the pram in the corner of the room. According to express.co.uk, one of my favorite websites, and it's a newspaper as well. After an elaborate security system was installed, the museum manager was constantly being called back to investigate alarms tripped by movement in the house. So before they set up the security system, everything was fine. But after they set it up, the alarm kept on going off like there was somebody in the house. The activity would always be from the children's room. Security staff frequently reported seeing someone or something in the window, but when they went to investigate, no one was there.
Bum, bum, bum.
We need something on the soundboard. Nothing? We have this.
Grab. So creepy.
Yeah, we need that. Dun, dun, dun.
Yes. Yes.
I have it, just not on our soundboard.
You'll have to make that happen.
Okay. So where was I? Whenever visitors tried to take photos of the strange-looking doll, they all experienced problems with their cameras. Either pictures just didn't come out at all, or black streaks appeared. In one instance, the back suddenly flew off a photographer's camera, exposing the film and destroying the image. This particular photographer, a director planning to shoot a series for the Discovery Channel, was determined to disprove the story of the camera-shy doll, so he returned and took more pictures. But the morning he was due to start filming, the Geiger House staff arrived and found the doll was gone. Dun, dun, dun.
Twice now you could have used. Those are serious plot twists.
Say again, what?
Those are serious plot twists. We could have used that sound twice now.
I know. Because you got the haunted doll, you got the pictures not coming out, and then the doll's missing. But the morning was okay. I already talked about that. The doll's gone. None of the alarms had been tripped. Nobody had been in the house. The doll had mysteriously escaped and has never been seen since. Dun, dun, dun. So what do you think, Matt? Who's behind all this?
Obama.
Thanks, Obama.
Actually, don't really believe that at all. I don't know. I don't think it really got up and left. It is terrifying looking based on the picture that is provided in the web page. But
yeah, we'll and for people listening, we'll have the link in the show notes, and you can check it out for yourself. The actual doll.
I'm guessing that if it did not get up and walk away. I don't believe that for a second. My guess is that someone who worked there could just disable the alarm and take it and get it out of there.
So somebody there didn't want the doll to be the center of this documentary series that this guy was.
Either that or the guy knew that it was the perfect opportunity to make it a huge story by it disappearing.
And make it more of a legend too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I recently watched an episode of Paranormal Witness. Are you familiar with that show?
I've heard the name, but I don't think I've ever watched it.
It's basically it's an hour program on sci-fi. It's on space here in Canada, and each episode focuses on one case, and it's all like witness testimony. So there's no narrator, there's no voiceover guy. It's just people that were actually there explaining what happened, and then actors would reenact what happened. So there's witness interviews and then the reenactments. And there's one episode, a this aunt of this little girl made a doll for her, but it was like just the creepiest looking doll, and it was about the size of the kid as well. And somehow, like a spirit or a demon went into the body of this doll, and yeah, they had all kinds of problem. Like the doll would like cause havoc in the house, and they eventually just got rid of the doll, and everything was fine. What?
Dolls usually are the center of like weird things like that, like Chucky and that there's the movie Annabelle. That's about a possessed doll. So it's like, yeah, it's a terrible movie. They never should have made it, but there's just something about like that style, like the old school ceramic dolls.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's just terrifying. So I think it's kind of a good scapegoat.
Well, when you see a doll that's got that expressionless look on their face, right, where it's a dead face, the eyes don't move, and then all of a sudden, like either the eyes move or the head moves. It's just the freakiest thing because you're not expecting it.
Yeah, because it's not alive. It shouldn't move.
And there's I've read these things before where if you do a certain curse or like I think maybe we talked about these on a previous episode of Weird World Weekly, where you would do these certain things, and as long as you had a vessel, the spirit that you would like call on would enter that vessel and like move it around and become alive. So maybe that's something along those lines in the case of that show.
A lot of times people just use dolls. You know what I mean?
Yep. I mean, because look, voodoo dolls, right?
Yep. Well, what's more believable, that someone can possess and move a doll as being legitimate, or like they can possess and move a ball, which could start moving with a breeze? You know what I mean? It just.
Well, okay. If you were a spirit and wanted to, if didn't have a physical body, would you rather go into a ball or go into something that was similar to what your human body was when you were alive?
Oh, without a doubt, it'd be something similar to my human body, which I think is why dolls and things get possessed, because assuming that these are all real and legitimate possessions, the spirit would want to get as close to what they had before. You know what I mean? Because that spirit obviously wants to be alive again. They never wanted to die, or they want to do something. So why wouldn't you possess what is most closest to what you had? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it totally does. Now, okay, how freaky would this be? A clown doll that came back to life, or that came to life. Because clowns are kind of freaky, right?
Clowns don't really bother me, but I know it scares a lot of people. So
my stepdaughter is scared to death of clowns and mascots. Like a costume or like a mask on, she's freaked out by.
That's really funny. Yeah, we've gone to like haunted houses, and they're like, "Oh, the Carnival of Terror," and I'm like, "This really isn't scary to me." But there are people who are just losing their minds.
Well, have you seen the preview for that movie where the guy?
Yes.
He has to, because they hire like a clown to come to a birthday party, but the clown like called in last minute and couldn't come. So this parent, this dad, found this costume in the basement, put it on, and couldn't get the mask off.
Yeah, like it's the nose and the wig like attached to him. What's it called?
It's like clown or something simple like that. It's
like Chuckles or something. Giggles the clown.
Yeah. It's like he becomes the clown. Like he like and it affects his, like it possesses him sort of.
Oh,
like,
shit. It is just called Clown.
Okay. All right. Winner Dave.
Yeah, that's, man, I forgot about that movie.
Hey, since we're talking about scary movies, we should talk about your other podcast on the Galactic Netcasts Network. It's called Podcast of Terror, right?
Yeah, I mean it's all right.
It's awesome, man. Of the ones that I don't host, that's my favorite. Because nothing against Brad, but board games like role playing games bore the crap out of me. So
Last Wednesday or Thursday, excuse me, Brad, Anessa, and I actually got dinner. I was in Wausau for the cattle decapitation concert, and Brad and I were talking. He asked about our show, and he was like, "Yeah, sorry, man, I don't listen to it." And I said, "I don't listen to yours." And then I was like, "But you don't even like horror movies, do you?" And he's like, "Oh, but I do." And I'm like, "Ooh," and I kind of like board games. I'm like, so we're dicks to each other.
Yeah, you kind of are.
Well, the only episode of Adventure Party I ever listened to was the one that I was on. So I'm like, we'll have you on the podcast at Terror once, and it's repay the favor, and that'll be the only episode you'll ever listen to. Just the way it goes.
So you guys talk about a scary movie, and then you also discuss like horror film news, right?
Yeah. So the premise or the goal, my original goal was to do like a review of something, and it's only been movies so far. And then the news the next time, and it kind of was a lot of movies in a row. And then we finally did one news episode, and I have another one for next Tuesday. Will be a news episode.
Okay.
But since we're rolling into October, I wanted to do like haunted houses and things like that, and get.
So basically anything scary, like it can be a scary film, a scary TV show, something on like maybe a web series that would be scary, or a video game, or things of those nature.
Yeah, I did do a video game. I did the Until Dawn for PlayStation 4. We did a TV show. We did Scream Queens, the pilot. So basically, anything horror related that we decide we want to talk about.
And I suggested some classic horror films, and it sounds like you guys are going to be digging into that a little bit.
Yeah. While we've been recording, I've been talking with a friend of mine, as well as Corey, to do the Nightmare on Elm Street series.
Sweet.
So that'll probably be coming up. We also talked about doing Hellraiser movies.
Oh, that would be awesome.
I don't know. There's a lot of things that I want to get into the month of October before Halloween.
Yeah.
But not a lot of time to do it.
So perfect. This is perfect. This perfect time for people listening. If you want to celebrate Halloween, this is the perfect podcast to do it. It's called Podcast of Terror, and you can find it at gncasts.com along with this podcast.
Yes.
All right. So that pretty much does it for another episode of Weird World Weekly, a production of Galactic Netcasts. Home of fine podcasts such as Podcast of Terror, Adventure Party, Alien Invasion, the Sci-Fi Geeks Club, and a few others. So check them all out there at gncasts.com, and don't forget to subscribe by clicking that subscribe link on the website. What else, Matt? Help me out here.
The phone number, you know the phone number by heart, but I know that you can call the phone number and leave us a message.
Yeah, 805-328-3966. Don't forget to leave that message with that weird whatever. You can email galacticnetcast@gmail.com. And that is it. That is all. Thank you for listening, everybody. Thanks for subscribing. And until next time, Matt, what do you want to do?
Keep it weird.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. That is it, everybody. Thanks for watching, YouTube people. I'm shutting this down. Talk to you next time.
Boom.
Oh, crap. Okay.